Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending today. Today's webinar is on Microsoft CRM for ERP users and specifically Endeavour clients of ours as well as prospective clients that are using Microsoft Dynamics GP, Dynamics Nav, or Dynamics 365 Business Central. Our agenda today, we'll talk quickly about what is Dynamics 365 and some introductions. And more importantly, we've been able to get access to Steve Wright, one of our senior CRM solution architects, and Steve will be taking us through much of his commentary as well as a live showcase of Dynamics 365. I'll come back online. We'll talk about integration points and scenarios of where ERP and CRM work together and the logic between them, and obviously talking about what the future beholds. So thank you very much, everyone, for attending today. We can have an open session for Q&A at the end, as well as an opportunity to type into the chat, which we'll look at periodically. So what is the CRM and why do we care? This is specifically targeted towards our audience today, which are Dynamics GP, Dynamics Nav, and Business Central users, and typically an office of finance or IT, and finance either being part of IT or IT being part of finance. So CRM, Customer Relationship Management, is what it stands for. And really it's evolved over the years to become customer experience. What used to be just contact management and sales pipeline evolved into sales, marketing, case management, a variety of portals, self-serve internally, self-serve externally, and obviously a lot of the reporting. That's even gone to a step further, and it's really providing all of the digital communication, multi-channel digital communications, integration into call centers, integrating to all of your email marketing, lead generation, website marketing, and having forms that are online, automatically creating leads and opportunities. And you're providing and creating that 360-degree view of your customer, or of your membership, if you're membership management nonprofits, of your stakeholders, a variety of views to pull all the pieces together and really looking at an end-to-end of your customer's journey as they become a customer, you work with them, and as you continue to nurture them long-term. A lot of research and collaboration. Microsoft has purchased LinkedIn. LinkedIn is now embedded into parts of the CRM system, so a salesperson or even a customer service person can be doing a little bit of that snooping online. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, other social media feeds can also be fed into chat and fed into your CRM, and you can be keeping records of everything, not only records of your email, but records of your online transactions and discussions with your various stakeholders, external and internal. Brings into all the knowledge management and knowledge basis, pulling in best practices to support those frontline staff that are working in a digital environment. Variety of portals and reporting still, and getting into even deeper analytics. There's a ton of data that is now being stored and housed within CRM systems. Really, they're becoming line of business applications. They're replacing all the historic custom apps at a departmental level, custom databases, custom forms, providing that centralization into a full end-to-end business application. And that is why finance needs to care. This is becoming equal, and for some organizations, larger than their ERP. ERP being our financial reporting and transactions, but all of the other components within an organization are potentially being touched and moved and nurtured through their CRM. And so if we look at a CRM in Dynamics 365 as an integrated business application platform, you have accelerators and OOTB, out of the box line of business. So out of the box sales, out of the box marketing, out of the box customer service case management, out of the box warranty management, out of the box membership management, a variety of industry-unique accelerators and common scenarios that are all available. And there's add-on products as well as our experience at Purely CRM and Endeavour. And it's really become a development platform, custom cloud applications and mobile apps. And we're going to get into that in the next slide or two. One of the things that works really well in Endeavour's fashion is Microsoft Dynamics 365 is so large and there's so much information online, and it does get complex that many individuals simply go to Bing or Google, search out, I need a Microsoft Dynamics partner in Toronto, in Halifax, in Vancouver, in Montreal, Canadian partner, or US partner, and they find us. Now we can have the conversations. Thank you for being a client of ours. As you can see here, obviously you have all the analytics, the mobile aspects on the sides, and there's a variety of applications that are all part of the Dynamics 365 platform. And again, these are built either from past ERP systems or past CRM systems and pulled together. Within the mid-market, so those organizations under, say, 500 million, sometimes under $1 billion, definitely in the 100 million and less, we're looking at Business Central as your ERP of choice or Dynamics GP, and then sales, marketing, customer service, and complementing those. Looking at the bottom side of this, the human resources, supply chain, finance, service automation, those are pulling from the enterprise. And there are obviously some overlap between enterprise and the upper mid-market. And we're working with clients to make an informed decision if they're moving in those directions. All of the data and intelligence pulling together with the one Microsoft, pulling in the Microsoft 365, usually known as Office 365. And so you got your Teams, your Power Apps, your obviously Word, Excel, and Outlook. So if we pull all these pieces together and take a little bit of a different view, Microsoft Business Applications, Dynamics 365 for the mid-market, as I mentioned, Business Central, and the CRM components. Sales Enterprise is both for large enterprise as well as small business. There is a sales professional that basically shaves off some of the corners for a lower price point, but we find that the reduction in functionality, 9 out of 10 clients are all using the Sales Enterprise version. There's Sales Customer Service Enterprise, and there's Customer Insights, which is their rebranding of the marketing automation tools. So it used to be Dynamics 365 Marketing. It's now been rebranded as Customer Insights. There's still other insights for BI and other components. The Power Platform are all these additional cloud tools used for integration, used for custom application development, used for custom screens, used for BI, used for virtual agents. And you can now see it's merged with Copilot Studio because Microsoft has invested billions of dollars into AI. They were actually the founders of the OpenAI that became ChatGPT, and then they pulled back much of that code base and are reinventing, maturing, and embedding across all of Microsoft. So if we look at this little center wheel here, there's easily 50 different applications where there's different Microsoft Co-op apps being integrated in. And these ultimately are going to be embedded in Dynamics 365. Looking on the right, Business Central, Customer Service, Customer Insights, not formerly known as Marketing, and Sales. And then we have the Power Platform components, which are also embedded and integrated into Dynamics 365. Power BI is built in, Power Automate's built in, Power Apps. Power Apps is built in so much that Power Apps are actually the platform and tool that is used by Steve and others on our Purely CRM team to modify the Dynamics 365 CRM screens. So it's really sharing that same platform, which is called the Microsoft Dataverse. So to take a pause, and actually I did want to take off my camera just to let you guys have a larger screen real estate. So I'm still here, just camera's off. How does Microsoft compare to Salesforce.com? Both are leaders in the industry. They do much of the same components. Salesforce.com does have a larger market share, and with that, they are relentlessly demanding and commanding a premium price. And the ease of doing business is a different model. Microsoft is very much a partner-driven model. So if you want to buy and implement Microsoft Dynamics 365, you'd be working with a partner such as Endeavour, and we would be working as your system integrator, your implementation, all the training, configuration, and Microsoft is staying as that software side. Salesforce.com relies heavily on a direct sales force, highly incentive to get that subscription, make promises, and then worry about someone else to deliver either at the enterprise level, they have their own in-house team, or they do have additional companies that do put the pieces together. So recent Forbes Advisor 2024 just came out. Microsoft had a score of 4.3 out of 5, and Salesforce had a 4.2 out of 5. What does that mean? There's still room for improvement, and Microsoft is head-to-head slightly better in a few aspects. From this article, I'm sure there's other articles that make the other ones slightly better or not. These two are definitely in a league of their own compared to many other CRM options out there. And from Endeavour's perspective, we love Dynamics 365. Obviously, we are biased because we are a Microsoft partner, have been for our last 35 years, and expect to be solely Microsoft for many years to come. What we have found when going head-to-head with Salesforce.com, and for also taking some Salesforce former clients and moving them to the Dynamics 365 platform, Dynamics 365 is way more affordable, both short-term, both long-term, both on total cost of ownership. Typically, subscriptions are 25 to 50% less cost. The storage costs that come with additional expenses are less. The add-ons such as additional AI, additional Power BI and reporting, additional connectors, additional this, that, and the other thing. A lot of that is either embedded for free and unmatched by Salesforce within Microsoft, or just that much more affordable. If we think of the one Microsoft, Outlook 365, Microsoft Teams, OneDrive, SharePoint, the whole Microsoft Dataverse, which is connecting basically a middle layer in cloud that connects the different CRM modules, CRM Business Central, CRM and other applications, exposes data out to the Power Apps and Power Virtual Agents. You can actually even connect Microsoft Dynamics 365 with Salesforce.com with Power Apps and have two sources coming together and presenting within the same Power BI dashboard. It's amazing of all the pieces that are ingrained together, and yet still, when it comes to cloud, allowing these cloud APIs to connect back and forth with each other, have virtual tables, have additional storage, and be able to replicate and integrate data that much easier. So enough of my talking for now. I will come back in a little while after Steve Wright has a great ability to showcase and provide his own commentary on his views around Dynamics 365 and why you should care, why it's important for finance and ERP people. So, Steve, I'm going to make you a presenter.
Great. Thanks, Scott.
Please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Steve Wright. I am a senior solution architect with Endeavour. I've been working in the Dynamics space for approximately 20 years now. Worked as anywhere from development up to functional, and now I'm working as a solution architect in the pre-sales area. So what I'm going to show you a little bit here is the application itself. If everyone can see my screen, this is what you see when you log into CRM, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what you're looking at right now. This is what we call the unified interface. And as you can see, it's got the same kind of look and feel as most Microsoft applications, similar a lot to Outlook. You have your sitemap on the left-hand side. This allows you to navigate between screens, so you can see that they're organized in a specific way, because we are in the Sales Hub right now, so this is for sales professionals to work in. But as Scott mentioned, these are all Power Apps, and I'll explain that and go into more detail about what that looks like in a little bit. But you can organize this and you can configure this any way you need to, which makes sense for your business needs. So you have the sitemap on the left for the main navigation between screens. As you get to a screen, you can see at the top here, this is called the command bar. This command bar gives you your features that you can work with. So you can select records here, and you can operate with some of these features if it allows you to do that. Depends on what the feature is, because it's not necessarily going to work with multiple records. But these are what we call our main views. So this is a list of all my leads in the system, and you can see it's the view is set to my open leads. And these are all configurable as well. These ones happen to come out of the box, and they come with the sales application with the Power App for the Sales Hub. And if you drop your list down, you can see there's a number of ones out of the box here, but you could easily create your own. Users have the ability to create their own views. Very easy to do. Basically, it's what you see is what you get. You can set your filters. You can set the columns that you want to see that exist on the lead tables and show them right here. And if you want, you can actually share that with the other team members. Generally, what happens if you want this to be company-wide is we would create what's called system views, which is what you're looking at right now. So that's built by a system customizer, or you would call a partner like Endeavour, and we would build this out for you. Very easy to do. You just find out what it is you want to see, how you want to filter that, and then we would deploy that, and it would be visible to everybody. Personal views are only visible to those particular users who created them unless they choose to share them. Down here we have what's called an area. So you can change areas, and then as you can see, the sitemap changes as you go through these particular areas, and you have a whole different list of sitemaps here. Now, usually when you get down here and you organize it this way, you're getting into some of the settings. When you get these apps like the sales app, customer service app, the marketing app, when you install these, they all have these pre-configured areas, but we can modify them to what makes sense. Sometimes you may say, you know what, Steve, I see a lot of stuff here I don't use. We can hide those on the sitemap so you don't have to look at them every day. And it's not like right now we're seeing everything out of the box, but in a lot of cases, if you're not using any of these marketing pieces, because you do get some minor marketing with the Sales Hub, we could take that out. Okay. Now, at the top here, you have this bar here. This is your main bar. This doesn't change at all, but you can get into personal settings. So if I wanted to go in here and say, okay, well, this is me. I'm logged in as a system administrator, but I want to change my time zone. I want to change my own currency because I deal with US dollars, not Canadian. I want to see 250 records on a page. I could make these changes, and these are only particular to the user that's logged in at the time. So you can basically set this up the way you want to work, and it's not the same for everybody else, which is quite nice. If we look over here, you can see Sales Hub. This is the app that we're in right now. Like Scott was talking about Power Apps. When you click this, you'll see a list of apps that are available to you right now. Now, for this demo purposes, we're working with customer service and we're working with sales. So these are all modular applications that come and we deploy this particular environment. We select, okay, we want sales, we want customer service, and you could pick marketing, you could pick Power Pages, you could pick field service, depending on what you want. In a lot of cases too, you may not want those. That's not necessarily going to be helpful for you, but you do want to use the Power Platform for some operational control in your business, in which case you would just use what's called a Power App. So a Power App wouldn't have, we wouldn't deploy one of the Dynamics apps, but we would build you a custom one with tables in it, and it would fit whatever your business requirements are. And we do that quite often. So as we see here, we're looking at the Sales Hub. We're starting off here at the Sales Accelerator. And you can see that this particular user, who I'm logged in as right now, System Admin, has all of their work list. So this is all of their activities, and they're all tracked chronologically here in the middle. And then this is the last record I was working on, which was a lead record. So you could start out in any particular sitemap area you want to in your system that makes sense for you. So you know what, Steve, I really want to jump into dashboards when I log in, and then you can just set that in your system. So these are dashboards. And when you deploy a Dynamics app, you get a lot of out-of-the-box dashboards, but these are very easy to configure. As you can see, I could click a new right here and create my own if that user does have the ability to do that. If you've given them the proper permissions, they could do that as well. And as you can see, just like you can change a system view, you can change different dashboards. So you can have different dashboards for different particular reasons. This one here is the pipeline. You're seeing performance because we're tracking goals. So there's a couple goals in the system. I'm going to talk about goals in a bit. But basically, this is my opportunity pipeline, and I can see what's been qualified, developed, proposed, or closed. These absolutely can be changed to match what you track against your sales KPIs. I'm going to go back here to the social because this is one of my favorites. Here I can see, this is going to be the assistant, which is going to tell me what's coming up, what I need to pay attention to, a list of all my open leads in the system, and they go by lead source, where did they come from, all my opportunities and where they are currently in the process and what their value is. I can look down here and see what are my top opportunities that I have in the system right now that are open. And then we can look at our top customers, and then we can get a list of all activities that pertain to me. Because as you can see, it's my activities and my open opportunities. Now we can build out all sorts of dashboards and it's basically controlled by filters. So the filter in this particular case is saying, show me the logged in users' opportunities, show them the logged in users' activities. And we could change that to a more centralized, if you were dealing with a sales manager, you wanted to see, show me my entire team. Or perhaps you had multiple sales managers who operate different teams, then they would see only the team that they're invested with. Okay, so what I'm going to do to start this off is I'm going to talk about the Outlook integration, which is, let me just bring over another screen here because I have this teed up. So we're going to operate here on a different user. This is William. William's new to the company. He just started. He doesn't really have a whole lot of opportunities yet, but he is tracking. He went to a trade show last weekend, and he got a reply back from somebody he met at the trade show. So I have an email here that came in, and this gentleman is looking for some pricing on a particular product. So most salespeople, they don't really like to switch between applications. They generally spend 90% of their time in their Outlook. That's why the Dynamics 365 app for Outlook is so popular, because you can click it here, and as you can see, right now I'm in Outlook Web. Excuse me, I'm in the Outlook web application, but you could also use this on if you're using the desktop Outlook app as well. So I'm going to click my Dynamics 365 app. Right now it's authenticating, and it's logged me in. Okay, so what it does immediately is it says, okay, this isn't a tracked email, and I can't really find anybody in here that matches this. So I'm excuse me, I'm William right now, and I want to say, okay, well, this is a great lead. I'm going to set this up as a lead in the system, but I don't want to have to log into CRM to do that. So you can do it directly here from the app. So basically what I'm going to do is click this out, and these are a list of what you can create currently as it's set up, and you can add custom tables in here if you wanted to, if you had something specific to your business that you wanted to track. Right now, out of the box, you get account case, competitors, contacts, knowledge base articles, leads, and opportunities. What I'm going to do is create a new lead. And as you can see, I get the quick create lead form. So this one particular John Digman here, he wants, to talk about pricing for the AirPod XL. I don't know what his budget yet is, and that's okay. I know that the lead source came from a trade show because he mentioned that in his email. And then he's not in the system, so I'm going to add John in right now as we go along here. Now, right now, this is just a lead that I'm going to cultivate. I still have to qualify it and see if he is actually going to buy something from us, right? Add him in. He's a sales manager. Company name is Innovative Manufacturing. And his email is, that's my email for sending it, so I'm going to put his in here. Perfect. We also have his phone number here, so I'm just going to do a big cut and paste because I'm a developer, so I'm a little lazy than typing. So I'm going to save and close that. So now we know, okay, that got made in the back end, and I'm going to show you that in 1 second here. But right now it's still not tracked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set regarding, and there's John's lead record that we just created. And what this does is it puts a link between the email in your Outlook, and it also tracks that email activity against the record that you set as regarding. And now you can see right over here it says track to Dynamics. So you know that this is now being actively tracked. So if I jump into, Williams here is logged into his CRM. Where's my lead? Okay, well, we don't know yet because we have to refresh the system, and there we go. Now, this is assigned to him because he created it, so he's the owner of it. So we can pop this open now, and we can say, oh, okay, well, look at this. We got all the information we captured. Here's the original email that got tracked, so now we can see it in the timeline. So what we see over here is what you would see a standard form, and we can easily create this. It's basically what you see is what you get interface. So it's drag and drop. There's no development required. I don't need to write code to configure this form. So I can pull fields that exist on the lead table that make sense for what I'm doing, because there are probably about 50 other fields here that come with a lead, but I don't use them, so I'm not going to put them on the form. You can also have multiple forms. So if you wanted to have 2 or 3 forms that come out of the box, we could hide those. Or if you had one for a particular group of people that say, okay, I only want to track these kind of information on these tabs, and then we can set security access to those particular forms. But here's your main form here. This is your summary form. These are called tabs. These are called sections, and these are all of my data points. These are all my fields, and they're all different types of fields. So you have phone number, you have email, but we can switch between these particular tabs and see a whole list of different fields here. The last one here is anything that's related to this particular lead, right? So we could drop, these are all different types of tables that may be related to this lead, and I'll show you what that means in a minute. So as we can see here, we've got some information in here. What I want to do is I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to create a phone call here. I want to talk to John. I want to talk to him a little bit about the product and see how interested he really is. So I'm going to talk to him about the AirPod XL. We already know it's associated to John. We already know it's coming from William. It's an outgoing call. I'm going to put his number in here, which is 226-555-8967. And when is this going to be due? I'm going to expect this to be done today. So I'm going to save and close that. As that's created, it updates in my timeline. As you can see, it says it's overdue because we've already passed the date that it was set. Once it's done, though, I can click this and say close activity, and I've completed this phone call. So I've made the call to John, and he's really interested in purchasing a number of this AirPod XL. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to qualify this lead. So right now I've said, okay, John's not in the system yet. Innovative manufacturing isn't in the system yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to qualify this lead just by clicking this button at the top. What this does in the back end, so this is a perfect example of what's called duplicate detection. So this says, hey, you know what? We have a guy in here with the same phone number. Can you go take a look at it? Now, that's just because we're using sample data here, so I'm going to ignore and save it. But in a lot of cases, you would say, hey, do I want to duplicate John? Maybe something's wrong, or maybe this number is a business number, and we want to take that out of the duplicate detection system. So as you can see, it popped me over to a new opportunity. So in the back end, what it did was it converted that lead into a contact, an account, associated John to the account, and created a new opportunity to discuss AirPot XL coffee machines. Okay, so right now this is ready to be cultivated and processed by William, and he can move forward with this and start filling in some more information as he goes along. Get an idea of what the purchase time frame is. He wants to purchase this quarter, what his budget is. You can put all that information in. We can go back here and we can add some products in here. So we want to add, okay, he's interested in the AirPod XL. How many does he want? And we can put all that information in there as well. All right. Now, I'm not going to get too much into quotes, orders, and invoices, but you can track your product lines here. So if you can have a product catalog here, you can get pretty diverse with it. You can create a hierarchy of products as well. You could convert that opportunity into a quote. If you win the quote, you could process it to an order, and then from the order, you can generate an invoice. And if you want to integrate that with your ERP system, you could certainly do that. Every company is a little different in how they want to, handle that particular financial process, but that's something that it would take forever to show you guys right now, but just trust me that we can do that. Let me see here. Also a competitor list. So you can add in competitors here too. So if I'm in this opportunity and I'm gonna bring it open. So I'm working on this opportunity and I could say, okay, well, did I win it? Did I lose it? It depends, right? So I could close this as lost. And it could ask me, well, who did you lose to? What was the revenue here? It was, $100,000. And I lost it to a fourth coffee. So that's what the competitor is good for. So you can see like, who are we losing our opportunities to and why? I'm going to go back into okay. Bear with me while I close that down. Now what I'm going to do is show you some of our customer service stuff. Sorry guys, just give me a second here. I must have closed it.
Thanks, Eve. I'll jump in and fill up some of the air.
Absolutely. Thank you.
On one of the lead screen as well as the opportunity screen, there was a little assistant over on the right to provide additional commentary, and it's really neat to see this thing working. There's a variety of sort of add-ons and extra bells and whistles, but sentiment analysis, there's lead scoring. As I mentioned, there's the integration with LinkedIn. So if you get into the account-based marketing, sort of team-based approach to sales, is sort of like, who do you know, who else in your organization is linked to this person, and is there introductions or extra commentary that can be provided? So it really does pull in what you would expect for a large enterprise, and bringing that accessible to a 3-person sales team, 5-person sales team, or mid-market into a 20-person team, where you're really making that impact with the tools that are basically accelerating what best practices are now, but embedding them into the tool set and encouraging that level of collaboration and insights and preparation. Once we get the customer and their account typed in, there's a little link to here's their website. Here's news that's being released about those companies, and pulling in that information. So it's just at the fingertips, and salespeople can spend more time selling than researching. And same with customer service people, of having that richer context of a customer interaction when they're fielding a membership inquiry or a warranty claim, or ingestion of new applicants. They have that richer view. Okay, Steve, it looks like your customer service screen is back up. Hopefully I didn't see
awesome.
the thunder.
Awesome, yeah. Yeah, so what I'm showing you here is now we're in the Customer Service Hub app. So again, you can access it right from here. I can just click that, opens up the app, have it all teed up for you right now. And right now we're looking at probably one of the more rich dashboards here for case management. So this is a Tier 2 dashboard. Shows me all my cases by priority, cases by product, a mix of basically what's the incident here, what was the selection of the reason why the case was brought forward, what's my resolution trend. I can see that I have 9 active cases right here. I have 3 resolved cases. I have 43 activities that are pertaining to case management. So this is this particular dashboard here. As you can see, I can still I can flip it between different types of dashboards. So you can see, these are list types, or you could have more chart-based if you like that more visualization look as well. And then with an interactive dashboard here, you can change between time periods here as well. Right now I'm just pointing to this quarter because that's what the data reflects in the system. But if you look in the sitemap over here, you can access your account list, your contact list. Here's your cases, and then your queues. So with case management, you're basically looking at creating cases. You can create cases just like we did with the lead right from the Outlook app, and I'll show you that in 1 second. Queue management, you're looking at entitlements. You can control entitlements, service level agreements, knowledge base articles, queues and routing. So what I'm going to do is show you a few things here. So we're going to flip back to Molly. Now, Molly is a customer service rep, and she just received this email that someone's having an issue with their AirPod. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this. Now it's going to, because I had the window closed, it's going to want to do another re-authentication and get into the system. And I'm going to create a new case right from the system. So your customer service people can do this right from here. Now we know that John's in the system. I'm going to put in this issue with AirPod. I know this is a problem. Oh, sorry. You know what? I'm going to type in innovation, manufacturing. The contact is John. Now you could put John in there as well. There we go. John's related to that. Our origin is through email. We can select what product he's looking at. It's the AirPod XL. We'll see if there's an entitlement. There isn't. I'm going to save and close this. So right now, we know that we created that, and it's going to be over in the system. So I'm going to go over here and look at the cases. Now Mary's, sorry, this is still William logged in. So if I'm going to go to all active cases, I should see a new one here for innovative marketing, and it is issue with AirPod. Now, you can set subject trees here, and a subject tree, what what it is, it's a hierarchical list of issues. So you can set this up, with what type of issue it is. So in this particular case, we're looking at maybe some warranty. It's going to be a service request. Entitlements are related to service level agreements. So service level agreements track and define what should happen when a case is opened. So it'll set the initial response time for the support engineer, and it'll start a countdown clock for you here, and I'm going to show you that in 1 second as well. Entitlements are the agreements that are associated to those, and it's like, what is the client entitled to? You can relate it to a particular product so that they have particular product entitlement. You may have multiple products where they get a particular entitlement for this one and a particular entitlement for a different type of product. So what I'm going to do is show you something real quick here. So this is issue with, I'm going to use the AirPod again because I know that I set up an entitlement here for this particular person. This is going to be a service. It's going to be a repair. The customer is Coffee Time. The origin is we got this through the web. So one thing I'd like to talk to real quick while we're talking about origin and intake of cases and leads. Scott talked briefly about Power Pages, which is part of the Power Platform. Power Pages is basically what used to be called the Power Portal. So it is a configurable website that sits right on top of your data, and it accesses that data seamlessly without having to build any type of integration. So if you wanted to deploy a customer service portal so that your clientele could log in and start doing issue management and selecting what their problem is and what their problem is about and putting that right in that particular site, it would come and directly create a new case for you immediately. So what's nice about this is Microsoft prepackages these as kind of a pre-built website. So it has all the elements you need, but you can easily configure it and make some changes to match what your current case management process is. So in this particular case, I'm going to go in here and pick the AirPod XL. These guys have an entitlement, and they're on premium support. So I'm going to save that. And because they have an SLA, the SLA is going to start counting this down. So because they're on premium support, they have a service level agreement that cases need to be solved for this particular product within a 2-hour period. That starts counting down. As you can see, I'm going to resolve this case just by clicking it. Obviously, I'd spend a little bit more time on this, but because this is a demo, I have to do this quite quickly. So I'm going to say shipping out a new device. Problem is solved. And what we've done is we've set up this particular SLA that once it's completed successfully, you can see that it's succeeded because we did resolve this, it's going to send out an email. So what Scott mentioned earlier, part of the Power Platform is a workflow engine called Power Automate, probably one of the best items I've seen in a long time come out. And the reason why is because there's about 600 connectors that can connect to external disparate systems, HubSpot, you name it, it can connect to anything with an API, and it can pull that information into your CRM, or you can actually deliver externally out to those systems quite easily. Now, as you can see, I just received an email here that this particular case has succeeded within the SLA defined duration. And literally I built that in about 3 minutes. So it's quite easy to do. It's quite easy for system administrators to configure and deploy, and it's very powerful. Let me get back, sorry guys, to my case management. Right. So another thing we can do with cases, I'm going to go to another active case here. And I'm going to go into this particular case. As we can see, we set this priority as high. Oh, sorry. I don't want that one. That one's complete. Where's that one? Right here, AirPod. Okay, perfect. So this is still open. So what I want to show you guys is, we talked a little bit about queues when I got in here. So queues are basically a way of organizing and storing data that you can work on at a later period. So what I can do here is if I get this and create this case, so if I'm working on the help desk, we get this case get in, I know it's a high priority, I'm going to save and route this particular case, right? So it's going to say, do you want to route it? Yes, I do want to route it. And it's gone. So what I can do is I go over to my queues and I've created some queues here. And we can see that this got put to the high priority queue. Okay, and we can control who accesses this queue. So basically what you do is you say, okay, is this a high priority, low priority, or whatever? I'm working on a particular product. For our case, you know, we handle a lot of issues about software. So we have different teams that can handle GP support. We have BC support, we have NAV support, we have CRM support, we have custom development support. So when something comes in, we can take that case and we can route that based off the product that's being requested service on. And that can go to that particular queue. So we could have a queue for GP, for Business Central, for CRM, and then it goes there. And then our support technicians can go in here and say, oh, okay, so there's something in a high priority CRM queue. I'm going to address this first because it's high priority. I can select this just by checking it, and then I can pick this. So now this belongs to me. I'm going to be working on it. Do I want to remove it from the queue? Yes, I can remove it or I can leave it in there for visibility, but it can also show that, you know, I'm working on it. So right now I'm going to leave it in there, and you can see that it's being worked on by me as the system administrator. So now I'm responsible for working on this case and bringing it to resolution. Okay.
Thanks, Steve.
One more thing, Scott. So,
I have a few more minutes until getting back to myself for integrations.
Okay, do you want me to end it here?
I don't know.
Okay.
What else is awesome that you want to share?
I just want to talk a little bit about Copilot. So on the right-hand side, and I didn't want to jump the gun by talking about this, is you guys probably heard about Copilot, which is, you know, it's storming, you know, technology right now with generative AI. Microsoft is embedding this in all of their applications. So you'll probably see it in all of your Microsoft 365 applications. Right now, it's also available in all of your Dynamics apps, Outlook, you name it. So basically what you can do is you can start working and ask questions about your opportunities, your leads, and it can actually do a lot of, you know, back-end AI processing for you. I'm not going to get into it too deep because we're running out of time. But I also want to talk about Teams integration. So we can integrate out of the box with Teams, SharePoint, Outlook, Word, and Excel with little to no effort. So it's quite easy to do. So you can do all of your Teams communications right from your CRM application. Okay. So I'll leave it at there because I know that we got to talk about BC integration. So Scott, back to you.
Thanks very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, in the integration, you know, that ties nicely to where I left off with the Microsoft versus Salesforce. Their integrations are often require an extra app that's in the, you know, $300 per year per user. If you have 10 users or you have 20 users, then it gets quite expensive and isn't for everything. It's usually for a few pieces. So do you want to track email? Yes or no? Okay, that's a cost. Oh, you want to do Teams as well? Okay, there's going to be some extra fiddling. Oh, you want to integrate to SharePoint and other systems? Oh, that's a little extra. So it does add up, and having that one Microsoft just saves on the complexity, and we have that confidence that it's all there and working. Some of the things that I hope that you saw when you were on the line with Steve is that ability for digital transformation, that integrated data and the data exchange and experience across the different modules, the different apps, converting a lead into an opportunity, converting a case into something else, different queues and job views, job roles across your whole organization. And that's really the CRM, as I was starting off with, is becoming that go-to business application platform. So we're automating everything outside of finance and providing that productivity. Finance needs to care because this is a cost. It is an effort. And honestly, finance is typically better than average on analytics. And so it's an opportunity for you and your team to sprinkle in your knowledge around what do we need for analytics? What do we need for reports? I even have the word compliance here. Some lines of business aren't concerned about compliance, aren't concerned about standard operating procedures, aren't considered about confidentiality. These are things that often finance is more in tune with. So with that, let's get on to integrations. And there are a variety of integration points between Dynamics 365 and GP or Salesforce.com and GP, Endeavour being and our GP support North team being experts in Dynamics GP have integrated both and both successfully, consistently for a number of clients, sometimes using Smart Connect, especially for the Salesforce.com, and can pull in those pieces, and I'll talk about some of those integration points in a second. When it comes to Business Central and the cloud-based ERP with the cloud-based Dynamics 365, there's a number of out-of-the-box integration points for accounts, inventory, and some other select fields, and I'll show those momentarily. And there's opportunities for custom APIs and virtual tables. Virtual tables basically allow us to replicate on demand. I want to see certain tables or certain screens or certain functions within Business Central, and I want to see it in my CRM, and vice versa. We have the ability to put all those together, and really, sky's the limit. There's a term here called CPQ, that's Configure, Price, Quote. It's an official CRM type term out there. Very large and expensive and complex systems, but they bring in so much value to an organization that needs to spend a lot of time costing out, configuring, and quoting their products or services to others. And it's almost like a glorified drop-down shopping cart, if this and that type relationships as you configure your offering to your customers. So popular integration points, and again, just looking at the time, really comes down to that primary key. Once you have a primary key, then you can have some synchronization, either one-way or two-way, between your CRM records and your ERP records. There are all-in-one options. So within Business Central, it has a built-in CRM, and we have competitors that have CRM and ERP all-in-one. You still follow much of this synchronization or control who gets to change what. Because in reality, finance doesn't always trust that someone in customer service or someone in sales can change the billing contact or the billing email that you're sending out emails to. They also may or may not trust or comply with, how do I change a shipping address, a distribution center, especially with larger retail customers. There are penalties for shipping and missing dates based on wrong location or wrong data. So customer information, customer name, customer number, vendor type, and relationship type. So is this a prospect or is it an active customer? Is it a past customer? Is it a vendor? Is it a tier 1 vendor or a tier 2 vendor? Do they have different business logic and rules that go around them? And as you can see on the right-hand side, there's a number of trigger events. So if I create a new customer in the CRM, do I want to notify the ERP? Do I want to automatically update Dynamics GP or Business Central? And vice versa. If there's a new account created in one, do you want it to automatically be created in the other, or just notify someone through a workflow? Here's a manual email off to an administrative person who will then use their variety of business logic to choose whether or not they want to have it in or out. Or it could just be a trigger to check for, does this exist? Is this a duplicate entry? And are you creating bad data or good data? So a variety of aspects on that. The last one on this table is currency. Typically, we want the finance systems to set the currency This is also tied to your Avalara and other tax tables, tax calculations, especially if you're selling into the U.S. where each state has a different tax code as well as some of the cities. What does this look like? So whether it's Salesforce.com or Dynamics 365, we can pull in a lot of GP data into your CRM. And example here is Aaron Fitz. Everyone recognizes Aaron Fitz from the Fabricam database. That's the sample database for Dynamics GP. And you can instantly pull in within a few minutes all the sales results, sales trends, accounts receivable status, what are some of the past invoices, to be able to click and drill back on them one way or two way. And these can be stored in Dynamics 365, in the Dataverse, or separately and built on demand. So it's really neat to have that type of information available for your sales and customer service people, so they're not bugging you in finance. This is really helping in digital transformation efforts of additional self-service and helping those outside of finance make better decisions based on access to better data. How's it done? Really, really simple. You saw all the screens that Steve showed. We basically create a new box that says GP customer number, or and similar aspects you can do in Salesforce.com. And when you type in your GP customer number, then that becomes your primary key. Then you can start all the synchronization back and forth. And so what you see is someone typed in the GP customer number, then from GP goes, oh, look, I have the matching one. So we see the black that was typed in, and now there's a field that says it's locked. This is synchronized from GP, and here's the customer name, synchronized from GP. These are locked, but this is proving to the user that they've typed in the right information and are pulling the right details. So you always need to have that logic, because if someone types in the wrong GP number as your primary key, then you're synchronizing the wrong data, and we're losing trust. So we want to pull all those pieces together. I already talked about that one. Integration, Business Central to CRM. So very, very similar aspects. So on the left-hand side here, we have Business Central. On the right-hand side, we have Dynamics 365 CRM. We type in the customer number. That synchronizes with the customer number into CRM. If someone types in the same customer number, manual process, we can create automated processes that automatically create the accounts when a new account's created. There's a number of automated fashions, or the simple aspect is you notify someone on the sales admin team, please create this account, type in this. Here is the official customer number as per Business Central, therefore your ERP is the primary number. And then you can see these teal colored arrows. There's data in Business Central that is of value to your sales and customer service people. Let's see the same data embedded within one of those tabs, one of those sections that Steve and his team configured within your Sales Hub. And you can see, what's this customer's balance? What's their shipping? What's their outstanding invoices? What's their credit limit? If they're on credit hold, can we change the screen to be a red outline so individuals stop selling to them? Variety of aspects. Similar going the opposite way. So this is Business Central on the left. Up on the top right, we're grabbing information from Dynamics 365 and embedding it in the tiles and customer statistics that you're used to on the left-hand side. What are the number of open opportunities? What are the number of sales quotes? What are the number of cases? This is information that's typically within Dynamics 365 CRM, unless you're using the built-in CRM within Business Central. Don't want to confuse you. This is an integration discussion here, and we can pull in what is the forecasts. Pulling in a lot of those aspects will help make informed decisions when people are in the finance system. Another aspect, so taking a step further, we talked about out-of-the-box integration points, products. So controlling the pricing, controlling the units of measure, as I mentioned, controlling the currency. All of this information is typically in Business Central or your Dynamics GP, and can be pulled into CRM for that master data, the one version of the truth. Your ERP is controlling the units of measure. The ERP is controlling the price list. Here's a history on this screen here. Here's a history of different price lists and by units of measure, and the pricing is actually being pulled in from the ERP system. This is specifically important if you have special pricing tiers by customer category. Be able to reference that within your CRM. So here's the details based just what I just covered off: unit of measure, product, item masters. Which way do we want to synchronize it is up to you. This is where Endeavour comes in to make sure that not only the synchronization is set up properly, but we've thought through the business logic based on our experience and discussions with your team. Posted invoices, sales price lists, etc., etc. And as I mentioned, statistics back and forth between the two applications. This is just proof in the pudding. Within Business Central, there's a table, and you can type this in if you're using Business Central now. Type in integration table mappings. You will see out of the box, there's a variety of functions here, and there really are a lot of drag and drop or type in. Is this a integration bidirectional, unidirectional? What's happening? Where's the source coming from? Where's the table finder? And we can pull all those pieces together. So looking at the time, we are over time. So thank you for sticking around. Here we are. What does the future behold? So as Steve mentioned, there is going to be a lot of Copilot everywhere. Copilot's being embedded across everything. These are individual apps right now. Each Copilot will most likely be separate by module. Over time, Microsoft will be unifying into a common Copilot and following some of the user's experience, and they'll know intelligently what questions you were asking by the individual basis based on who's logged in. As well, when we get into some of those manual data entry type fields, there's additional AI that Endeavour and Microsoft has now, where if you recall, Steve was typing in the phone number, typing in the name, typing in the email. They can start pulling that automatically, and then the AI is going to be even going a step further. So what's been in artificial intelligence and machine learning for the last 5 years is being rebundled, reimagined, repositioned, repackaged into all the Copilot parts. And so it isn't what's new. A lot of it is based on stuff that's already been in place. Looking back on this screen, 2 major releases each year for Dynamics 365, both on Business Central as well as on the CRM sides. And that announces here's what's coming, here's what's been released, here's what's in preview. And you'll see a lot more around the business automation, the ease of use, and pulling the pieces together for that unified experience. So, quick wrap up. For those that are new to Endeavour, we're now into our 35th year working with Microsoft Dynamics. 3 lines of business: advisory, implementations and upgrades, and ongoing optimization support for our clients. Working with all of the Microsoft tool sets in the cloud or on-premise to really work with you on an end-to-end basis. We have our Purely CRM team, we have our GP Support North team, and the Endeavour team across all of them, including Business Central. Core values: integrity, trust, accountability. We don't take that lightly, and we do review it internally, and it's ingrained with all of our consultants to put our best foot forward to earn and keep you as customers for life. A little bit more on us. We now have over 900 active clients, offices across Canada, and extending down to the US, continuing to win awards, and working with our 3 brands that really elevate the best in Business Central, the best of the best in Dynamics GP, and the best of the best in Dynamics 365, CRM, and all the Power Platform. Thank you very much for your time today. Once again, we're here to help make your business applications work for you. Thank you for choosing to work with Endeavour, and We look forward to working with you on your next projects. Have a wonderful day. Thanks again. Bye for now.
Thanks, everyone.